a little bit about who you are, and let the audience understand why you're running. And first of all, let's just start, I think, with just a simple introduction for those who don't know who you are, don't know about your background, and furthermore, why you've decided to run for Senate.
Well, my name is Pamela Moses. Most people know me as P. Moses. That is my music artivist name. And I was born in Kingsport, Tennessee. A lot of people didn't know that. I was born in East Tennessee, but I was raised around West Tennessee and Jackson and Memphis, Tennessee. I graduated from the University of Tennessee in Knoxville, so went back to East Tennessee. And I have basically worked the whole Southeast region for the past 20 years as a hip-hop artist, and I'm Tennessee's first lady of hip-hop and music and rap. And so, yes, sir, I decided to get into this race because I was so disappointed in the current state and the future of America. And, because I did receive my bachelor's in political science, I felt that, when we successfully unseated the district attorney here in Shelby County, that it was time now for us to change this whole state and not just the county in Tennessee, Shelby County. And I say that because I know the state. I know it very well, better than anybody, because I've been to every county and the rural ones. I've been to Nashville, I've been to Murfreesboro, I've been to Sumner County. And there are a lot of people that need help, and they're not going to get it from a political party. They're going to get it from a person who loves people, and that's who I am.
I'm curious because of your extensive music background, and for anybody that's ever tried to be successful in that, there's a lot of hard work. You got to roll up your sleeves. There's a lot of sweat equity. Can you talk about how running a political campaign is a lot like the music business, and what you've learned in doing this?
Well, I'd say it's probably worse than the music business. I didn't know what I signed up for. People smile and wave and say things on TV, but it's been very cutthroat. It takes a lot. We didn't raise the amount of money that we could because the political parties, I would say probably the Democrats, worked really hard to keep us from doing that by, telling people not to support me. And, they shut down my Act Blue, which was my political platform to raise money. And, I had that platform for 5 years before I, ever declared any party or anything. And it's supposed to be for progressive candidates, but it's for their selection process. And that's what politics has turned into, a selection politics. It's not about getting our economy back moving. And, that's why when I'm elected tomorrow, I'm going to bring millions of dollars to this state that we miss out on because they're too busy fighting over partisan differences rather than, getting the job training and the economic development and the block grants that we could get because they don't want to piss one side off. And so, as a musician, a lot of people don't know, I actually auditioned for Diddy, and that was in 2006 when they did Making the Band 3. And so, I didn't go to any parties before or after that. And, I told many people a lot of the things that were going on, and no one ever believed me. We're talking about 10 years telling people that, the industry's wicked, it's controlled by an elite group of people. And I'm starting to feel like that, our government and the politics are too. But we will know after tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be reckoning day. And so, to anyone who's listening to this call, regardless if you go and vote for me, go vote your conscience. Vote for change. And if you think that change is just switching political parties, I just want you to know that you're delusional, because both political parties, and I'm only speaking about my U.S. Senate race, they have worked together to try to destroy me for the past year. I mean, there's been so much that happened that I can't even legally speak about, where they've actually, physically hurt people. And, it's just not what America is supposed to be built on. And I went to Parkway Junior High in Jackson, Tennessee. I'm a real patriot. You know, people talk about patriotism and they talk about the Constitution, but if you're not prepared to stand up and die for what you believe in, you're not really someone who should be representing any state or any group of people, because that's what it's coming to tomorrow. It's going to come down to one choice. Either you choose to be free or you don't.
Yeah. And Pamela Moses is joining us. She is running for U.S. Senate in Tennessee as an independent. And your story about how you feel like you were frozen out of, I guess, the primaries for the Democrat Party. And we've heard this story from other candidates before. Do you feel in the way that happened, have you left the Democrat Party, or has the Democrat Party left you in a certain way with that? And that is that why you're running as an independent? I'm fascinated, but I'm also disappointed that that's how kind of the system works.
Well, I would say that the Democratic Party left me when they elected a chairperson, who I will say, and I talked to the Democrats all over the state. They did get rid of Lexi Carter. She was the chairperson. When she tried to physically fight me because I told her I was going to run for this race, and she told me it wasn't my time, we were going to run other people, that's when I said, you know what, wait a minute. This isn't a party that I can be a part of, because if my constituents, which are the people I live around, are so frustrated with nothing being able to get done, and they say, you should run, Pamela, the people in my community, the people who know me most, those are the people I listen to. I don't listen to someone who's been selected to lead a political party that's not even from the state. And so that was where I drew the line. You know, if they wouldn't have already selected the person who I'm running against to be the person who they wanted to push, who wasn't even from Shelby County, this was a cross-county thing. No one in that Democratic primary got a fair chance because they had already decided, just like they did with Vice President Kamala Harris. The Democratic Party already decided a year ago that she was going to run and not Biden, but they didn't even do the process in which they had in place, where you allow the people to select, the delegates and the people at the convention to select. It was not democratic, and that is not what I stand for. I stand for fairness. I stand for equity. I stand for integrity and transparency. And the fact that it was not transparent, you know, that is why I can't be a part of what they're doing.
Pamela Moses with us. Ms. Moses, what you're saying, it resonates on both sides. I really hope that you understand that. In my opinion, this machine, people who are out working, going to work, getting ready to go to work this morning, and feed their family and just live a comfortable, healthy, safe life, they are tired of the machine.
Yes.
And, you know, some of what you're describing is you against the machine. Nobody should be told, sit down, it's not your time. If you want to run for Senate, by God, you stand up and run for Senate. And we hear about this on both sides. Both parties tend to do this. And I think this is something that is so frustrating to voters.
Yeah, I mean, and Ditch, to your point, I mean, look no further than Shelby County. We've seen this happen within the Shelby County's Republican Party as well. There's offenders on both sides. You know, you are here, you are running, Election Day is tomorrow. Please, if you could, share some of your platform with our audience. Tell us we know who you are, but what are you all about if you were to be elected the next U.S. Senator here in Tennessee?
Well, if I was to be elected the first U.S. Senator in Tennessee, I'm going to help everyone. And the reason I say everyone is because everyone needs help. We have to be concerned not only about the inner city crime in, you know, our major cities, but you've got rural areas. Like, look what happened in Greene County. That could have been prevented. The current senator voted against that FEMA money that could have already been in place. They know that the infrastructure is crumbling. If you live in Memphis, you drive down the roads, it's crumbling. It's not crumbling because they don't fix and pave the roads. It's crumbling because everything is outdated. So I'm going to bring an innovative approach to our government because I'm an innovative person. If you like music, I got to understand that musicians are the greatest people that God created. In fact, even the devil got kicked out of heaven because he was a musical person. Not comparing myself with the devil, but what I'm saying is I'm going to bring jobs to this state, and it's not just going to be Blue Oval that sees, the benefits of what's happening. Our economy is changing. The dollar changed over the 2020. You've got a whole new currency, cryptocurrency. I know about that. I attended the cryptocurrency conference. I was probably one of the only independent persons other than RFK that was there. And so, when I bring jobs here, I'm going to also focus on the health. There are elderly people that can't get their medicine. They have to go to pain clinics like they're drug addicts. Well, that happened because the wrong people were getting access to drugs. So we have to not just have all these rules that take common sense out of government. We have to have rules that make sense. And I'm going to create legislation that gets our economy back moving in Tennessee in a way like never before. If you know about how music or any product is moved, everything has to come through Tennessee. I'm going to be trying to create not only mass transit plans where we can have like a train that can go from east to west. So if you want to live in Knoxville and work in Memphis, it's feasible financially. We're going to get affordable housing. We're going to have things that we need, and we're going to do something about criminal justice reform. We're not going to just talk about it. We're going to do constructive surgery. And most of all, I'm going to make it where everybody can vote in this state that has served their time and that has paid their debt back to society. If you have to pay taxes, you should be able to decide what they do with your taxes, and that is done through voting. You cannot have proper representation proper taxation without proper representation, and we don't have it. It's a totally red state, and that is unfair. It's just totally unfair, because there are people here that care more about colors than they do political parties. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to work on reparations also, because I think that that's needed. And that would fix a lot of the economic problems if we could put some real money into the people's hand and not these corporations.
Hey, Pamela Moses is running for U.S. Senate, and I do want to follow up on reparations. We've heard this in California. We've heard this in other states as well. What would your plan be? We got about another 90 seconds or so. Could you kind of give us maybe the bullet points on how that would work? Particularly, I've heard different plans.
Well, I like the fact that I like what it was to begin with. You got 40 acres and a mule. Well, we don't have mules, I guess, to give out anymore. But I think land.
And the government owns enough land that you can't get 40 acres either, right?
Right. But if you look at Williamson County, the richest county in all of America, because of the capital that they have, that's how Williamson County got rich, off of stolen land. They gave a land grant. So I would start with land grants for those who wanted it. So at least those people that are ready, have a business plan or agriculture, they're ready to do that. And then I also think monetarily we can do it. Look at all the money we send overseas for wars. Look at all the people that are coming through the border and we're taking care of them. Well, it's time to take care of the people who've been here their whole lives like me. Neither one of my opponents are from this state. I'm born and bred Tennessean. And so I say to your listeners, if you can hear me, go vote for Pamela Moses. God is on my side. He's always been. And if you claim to be a real Christian, you have to know that.
You brought up an interesting point talking about the border and people flooding across the border. Regarding reparations, would the descendants of the child slaves that have now been imported into this country, would they be eligible for something like this?
I think it should.
This is happening at the border?
I think that we could go back at least maybe, I'm a fourth or fifth generation. So I would just start probably in the 60s where, certain things changed. I would start with that lineage first, because those people never got theirs. And if they get theirs, then they can pass it on or will it or put it in trust to their descendants. That's how I would do it.
All right, Ms. Moses, thank you for calling in this morning and sharing some of your insights with us and some of your experiences. Pamela Moses, running for U.S. Senate in the state of Tennessee.